Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important is it to be part of a work that's much larger than yourself and that benefits other people? Welcome to the programme. I'm looking forward to sharing with you today. At Wesley Mission, we're continually looking for ways to be effective in our community and to walk alongside people who are most vulnerable. When developing new programmes, we consider not only the people who directly benefit from our work, but also the people who help to deliver our services. Through all we do, we seek to foster a sense of community among staff and volunteers, continually reminding ourselves that the impact of our work is much bigger than any one person's individual effort. Today, I'll be speaking with Abbey Bishop from Ride for Refugees. Along with the team, Abbey organises cycle rides in Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane and Toowoomba to help raise awareness about the needs of refugees and to raise funds that will go ultimately to addressing those needs. The rides are for serious but also casual riders, so you might want to watch and see if it's a place for you. And in addition to helping address an issue which is much bigger than any individual riders, coming together with a common interest in cycling and fostering a sense of community and purpose together. We'll speak with Abbey a little later in the programme. I'll also be joined again by Craig Gower and Deb Ezzy-Walton, two of our own Wesley Impact band. We're going to sing The Lord is My Salvation. And I'll share some thoughts from a very challenging passage in Luke 16. But first, another group of people in our community who are vulnerable and also, very important, who are homeless. Last week we looked at the issue of homelessness and talked about some of the initiatives we operate and then providing a hand in encouraging people to find purpose and meaning in their lives. Every year we host a special event. This year, Heroes United, fundraising to help our work. Let's take a look together at this event. You can look at the screen. But one thing that I've always felt important to talk about is homelessness. And I feel passionately about it. It's that important to me, and it's that important to Wesley Mission. Coming out to Australia, there were many things that shocked me. I think I have to say, homelessness just shocked me beyond measure. Because this is a beautiful country with so many things going for us. And yet at the same time, there is a level of homelessness that leaves us at the point where we say, we must do something about it.
Wesley Mission do amazing work in assisting our homeless in Australia. 116,000 people on the streets is unacceptable, and it's our job as the community to get behind this cause and improve this situation. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this and see the good work being done by Wesley Mission.
It's not just someone that's sitting in a cardboard box on the street. It's so much closer and so much more relevant than to everyday people than you would expect. I guess it became quite eye-opening today to hear some of the other inspiring stories and to see how much more of a big deal it is than just when you walk through the city at night.
Today is a very special day where we get to support some people that are in serious need. Louisa Hope was one of the survivors of the 2014 Lint Cafe siege. You know, having MS is a lot to handle. Did you ever have a moment of thinking, are you kidding me? I've got MS and now I have to be a hostage in a terrorist siege?
I was really more busy thinking about, oh my goodness, are we going to die? Yeah, the MS kind of like disappeared into the background in that moment.
What sort of things were running through your mind over the hours as that day progressed?
I was in this constant state of, well, prayer, you know, but also trying to work out how I can keep my mother quiet because she was seriously, you know, giving him a bit of back chat. So that was always like, oh my goodness. Yeah, well, you know, like at one stage he actually said to me, Lee, keep your mother quiet. And I'm like, seriously?
I know, it does seem a particular level of unfairness, doesn't it, being stuck in a situation like that with your mother?
Yeah.
Todd, you would have tons of people asking you to come and speak, making demands on your time and so forth. Why was raising money for homelessness today something that you wanted to lend your name and your support to?
Oh, look, it's just sad to see so many unfortunate people out there due to different circumstances. And, it's not only in Sydney or Melbourne or Perth or Brisbane, it's also in Tasmania, which is close to home. And, it's just my opportunity to give back to organisations that, rely on people like us to get along and draw crowds so we can talk.
Every dollar that is given helps somebody's life. And if you can dig deep to pay it forward and to help Wesley Mission, it's not just one person, there's thousands of people that are homeless.
We can do something to help those who are facing the challenge of homelessness.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
So don't hesitate to be in touch if you'd like to find out more about our work at Wesley Mission, or if you feel there's some way we can be of help to you. The contact details are all on the screen now. Now, my guest today is Abbey Bishop from Ride for Refugees. Welcome, Abbey.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on the show. When did it all start? I suppose that's the question I want to ask first.
Yep. So Ride for Refugees started in 2009 in Sydney. That was the very first one. So they had 140 riders and they were able to raise $36,000. So, yeah.
So how many are involved?
So all up, I think we had about 400 riders, maybe a couple of hundred volunteers across all the events. And that's sort of the numbers that we're looking at.
And is the number much higher that you're raising now than that?
Yeah, so last year we raised $75,000 and this year we're hoping to raise $85,000.
So the question obviously that you want to, where's the money going to?
Okay, so and a lot of people want to know that. So the funds that we raise, they go to support the projects, people working with refugees on the front line. So people in Sydney, so we try and make sure we have local projects with each event, but then also that we partner with other projects overseas, places like Austria, South Sudan.
Austria sounds a strange place to be, but it is one of the major places, isn't it?
Yeah, so I had the privilege of going to visit Austria a couple of years ago, and I found out that historically Austria was a really welcoming country to refugees. So that was part of their policy as a government. And so they've carried that through.
Possibly Germany, Austria, after all the traumas of past years, have become one of those very welcoming places now. Tell me, because this is a fact that is shocking, really. How many refugees are there in the world?
Yeah, okay, so the latest stats from UNHCR are that there are 70.8 million displaced.
Million, not thousands.
No, millions. Displaced globally. So yeah, so to give you an idea, because that's just mind-blowing, that's 1 in every 113 people living today.
So when you look at a crowd walking up Pitt Street in Sydney or in Melbourne or one of our cities, you'd just be able to see lots of people if it was part of a number. And what is the main cause of people who become refugees?
So it's due to persecution, and that might be due to your religion, your race, beliefs, your socioeconomic group, just persecution because of those things that are often out of your control.
So as a Christian, you're concerned about this because you know that it's not right for anybody, irrespective of their religious background, to be rejected or persecuted in any way? That's
right. Yes, yeah, because God has created each one of us as a human being, and we live in this world, and to have hope is part of what keeps us going as a human being. And to have that removed because of what you believe or where you were born or your social standing, what a terrible place to be in.
And many come, of course, from Sudan into Australia. Correct. And many of those are from Christian backgrounds. Correct. And they have felt persecuted.
That's right.
Other parts. What other countries are?
Other countries. So Syria, obviously, especially in 2016 with the Syrian crisis and the war that was going on, a lot of people had to leave due to the war or just because they might have been Christian, so persecution because of that. South Sudan, the ongoing war that's there, people having to leave because it wasn't safe for their families to stay in that country of their birth.
Now, you wouldn't say this, but somebody might say, we shouldn't bother ourselves with this kind of thing. Now, we've got to be gracious and try to persuade people, but what really do we say to somebody who has that attitude? And there will be in Australia many people who say we've got enough problems here at home without getting involved in this.
Yeah, and I think personally for me, it is that I live in a country that has so much. God has given me so much, so many resources, gifts and abilities. And there are people on my doorstep that have come from another country, have been given the privilege of living in our country. And for them to be in this culture that is very foreign to them, to exist and start a new life, it's very difficult to do that on your own. And so Sydney Refugee Team, for instance, one of our projects, they walk alongside these families. So they will take them to doctor's appointments. They'll help their kids, enrol them in schools. They'll do simple things like drop a bag of groceries, you know, for people who can't get work because they're not allowed to work.
I remember arriving in Australia and finding myself trying to get a driving licence.
Yes.
It was unbelievable,
Yes.
you know. We need just to see this, we just need to see that. Trying to open a bank account. And I thought, and I speak the same language of the majority of people here, and I have a job to go to, all of that. So it must be impossible.
Exactly. And I think that's what I love about this, because it is something so simple as I live in this country, I understand all the cultural subtleties, and I can help someone else and walk alongside them and go, these are the cultural things that you may not be aware of. Let me help you walk through this and start a new life. And, you know,
So 2 quick questions. Firstly, is it a sense of call for you? Is it something that you feel God has asked you to do?
Definitely. I think and the funny thing is, growing up, I really had nothing to do with refugees. Where I was living, I didn't really interact with them. But then gradually, along the lines, you know, especially with the Syrian crisis, I think God started working in my heart and going, you know, there is this group of people, and it is such a massive issue, but what can I do right here, right now? And so, you know, before I started running Ride, we got involved as a family.
And finally, on the screen is for us now the details. Can people easily sign up and become part of this programme?
Yes, just Google Ride for Refugees and you'll find out all the information you need and to get involved. Yeah, easy.
Abbey, thanks ever so much for sharing something of your story, your passion, and I hope many people through our Wesley Mission website or going directly to yours will say, this is something I can do. I enjoy my bike, but my bike can be used for other people. Thanks ever so much. Welcome now Deb Ezzy-Walton with Craig and the Wesley Impact Band to sing The Lord is My Salvation.
Of God has reached for me and pulled me from the raging sea, and I am safe on this solid ground. The Lord is my salvation. I will not fear when darkness falls. His strength will help me scale these walls. I'll see the dawn of the rising sun. The Lord is my salvation. Who is like the Lord our God, strong to save? My salvation, and when I reach my final day, He will not leave me in the grave, but I will rise
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Entertainment is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including former Queen of Pop, Deborah Byrne, pioneer songwriter Jeff Bullock, children's and country music entertainer Colin Buchanan, Golden Guitar winning duo Carter and Carter, seasoned performer and music mentor Daniel Kay, and renowned worship leader Darlene Check. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on entertainment and collectively presents a broad cross-section of performers and how their faith impacts their lives and others. Perspectives on Faith and Entertainment is the third instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
I'm sure you've heard that saying, I wouldn't do that for love nor money. Unfortunately, this is just not true, and there seems to be no limit to what people will do for the love of money. It was the Apostle Paul who said, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. You know that he doesn't say that money in itself is wrong and evil, but when it comes to the thing where it becomes the focus of our love, then it becomes a problem. When we examine the ministry of Jesus, we know just how many parables and sayings actually deal with possessions and money. It's embarrassingly true that that's very often the theme of Jesus' teaching, which confronts us. And the account of the rich man and Lazarus directly confronts the difference between a rich man dressed in fine purple and linen and a poor person. Let me read to you this very challenging passage from Luke chapter 16, 19 through to 31. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen and lived in luxury every day. At his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. In Hades he was in torment. He looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus at his side. So he called to him, Father Abraham, have pity on me, and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I'm in agony in this fire. But Abraham replied, Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you're in agony. And beside all this, between us and you is a great chasm has been set in place, so that those who want to go from here to you cannot, nor can anyone cross over from there to us. He answered, Then I beg you, Father, send Lazarus to my family, for I've got 5 brothers. Tell him, warn them, so that they will not come to this place of torment. Abraham replied, They have Moses and the prophets. Let them listen to them. No, Father Abraham, he said, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will repent. He said to him, If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead. Well, you can see the challenge there, even if somebody rises from the dead, which of course has its own context in the ministry of Jesus. At this man's gate is a beggar named Lazarus, very different from the Lazarus that we meet in John chapter 11. He was extremely hungry and was covered with sores. It's one of the most descriptive and painful passages to read in the whole of Luke's gospel. The way God plans to deal with both people is remarkable. The beggar is carried to Abraham's side and the rich man goes to Hades. The point of this parable is that the way we live in this world has a fundamental effect on how we see our lives in relation to the kingdom of God. We can, as always, learn from the teaching of Jesus. It challenges us to our view. We've heard, as Abbey shared with us, there are many people in this world that have so little and are easily rejected. God's gift of life and love is always generous. In this account, we discover the pattern of grace. Grace, of course, that unmerited, unearned love of God. I'm never, ever worn out in saying that. I say it many times because I think it's at the heart of the Christian faith. Here is one person who you wouldn't expect to be, as it were, in that place of God's comfort and love. From this place covered in sores and alienated at the gate, not even to share. And we're told, picking up the crumbs and the food from under the table. And yet he is the one that is in that place of comfort, whereas the one who had everything is in the exact opposite place. The dollar or the pound may be the currency of our culture, but the Christian faith calls us to use a different currency, that of godliness, righteousness, faith, and love. As we reflect upon this passage and as we think carefully about our own lives, we want to say, who do we identify with most readily? Far too often, it's the one who's sat there in fine cloth and purple, who is in that place of comfort. That's the one that we relate to. But the one who is at the gate, in a very exact opposite situation, is the one that finds that righteousness of God, who knows what it is to be in God. So Jesus is challenging us. He's saying, look, how do you see the rich man and Lazarus? How do you see yourself? This is one of the things that I find when I turn the pages of the New Testament. I find them challenging me as to where I am in terms of my life and asking questions about how I view others. We were given that massive figure. I thought it was enormous. 70-odd million people who are refugees in this world, cut aside with very little for themselves. Trying to do something for them might be a beginning. But there are many people, whether it's the homeless, the hurt, those who are vulnerable and alienated. Let's ask ourselves, have we got to find time for the man who is at the gate while we sit at the table of plenty?
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Write to me if you've got any questions about the Christian faith or anything that you've heard on the programme today. I always look forward to hearing from you and responding to your emails and letters. Let's take a look now at some of the events that are coming up in the near future at Wesley Mission.
Wesley Mission is holding a Wills Day on Thursday the 3rd of October at the Wesley Centre, where you can have your will professionally prepared by an independent solicitor from as little as $60. Bookings are essential, so please visit wesleymission.org.au/wills to reserve your appointment. Wesley Life Force is holding their annual Newcastle Suicide Memorial Service to remember those lost to suicide. The service will be held on Thursday the 3rd of October at Spears Point Park, Spears Point, starting at 12 p.m. The Wesley Monthly Stall is on again on Thursday the 17th of October. Come and grab yourself a bargain from one of the many specialty stalls. Delicious cakes and sweets, retro clothing and jewellery will all be on sale. This year, the Wesley Monthly Stalls are supporting our work with the homeless at Wesley Edward Eager Lodge.
So there's that website again on the screen, information about the events that we have coming up. Also, please don't hesitate to be in touch if we can help you in any way or somebody that you love. Thank you for joining us once again on Wesley Impact. I value this time together and hope you've enjoyed the conversation, particularly with Abbey Bishop earlier in the show. I'd like to encourage you to continually look beyond yourself. Remember that amazing story of the rich man at the table and the beggar at the gate. And may it challenge us all to be ready to help others. I hope to see you at the same time again next week. God bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.